29. Rest in peace, Lil Ronald. For those who don't know, that is Lil Ronald. He will not be joining us on this show, or perhaps for a few. We may change our schedule around a little bit. You know how it is, work and whatnot. But as always, I am joined by Julian, Mauricio, and Mitch. So let's get this started. Cue the intro music. And then imagine some like chill hip hoppy kind of music,
I could put my
But-
mic up to my TV. It has the Super Metroid theme.
That's not really the vibe I'm trying
Why
to,
would you think that's okay?
and not really the vibe I'm going for.
We should play the Sex Offender Shuffle as our intro music.
What?
That's not actually our theme music. Fun fact. All right, starting off with our first topic of the day, though. GameFly is shutting down their game streaming service this month.
Oh no, the future, it's gone.
Yeah. So
Wow, it took that long.
it's kind of funny because we brought this up when because Google we talked about this a few weeks ago where Google is rumored to be doing a service like this, and now one of the biggest that did exist is shutting down. So that's kind of funny. Just it didn't work out.
But it's
Like if
Google.
you make something that no one wants, no one will buy it.
I don't know if it's something that nobody wants. I think really everyone wants it. It just needs to work.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not really for streaming games.
Nobody wants it.
I mean, if it's way cheaper than buying a console, then I think you probably would.
Yeah, and once like the internet is so
But
good
is it
that it's
reliable?
seamless, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we gotta get to that's the problem, and that very well likely will never happen.
Yeah, but this is something that we want. It's just not necessarily something
I
that
can-
we
I can
can
agree to-
have yet.
I can agree to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah.
So it's a matter of the technology getting there. And I mean, sure, if anyone can do it, it might be Google, maybe. I don't know.
Who else besides Google? Apple?
Not Apple.
Huh. Well,
Transition?
Apple's stock just like broke 1 trillion or something.
Yeah, that's actually our next topic, so we'll make
transition.
sure we... I mean, is there nothing else anyone wants to talk about GameFly? Does anyone here actually use GameFly, like, at all?
I had a
Never used
friend
that.
in high school in Michigan that used it.
Yeah, I had a friend who used it a lot. That's
That sucked for him when Halo Reach came out because we all had Halo Reach, and he's like, "Hold on, I have to wait because all the copies are being used, and I have to wait for somebody to like put it back in circulation."
There are limited quantities? I didn't know that.
Well, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, there's limited quantities of everything in the world, Julian.
Well, like, seems like it was a problem with games. Well, I guess it was a popular game.
It's a very popular release, and like the problem is like they need to make money, right? If they buy too many copies of the game, then they won't make enough back from the rentals. So they'll always have to. So at fresh release, basically any game is gonna be like round robin to see who gets it. So
Yep.
it's just the nature of rental services.
Yeah.
But it's a cheaper way to game, so.
Yep.
And if
Yeah,
you don't
just buy used
if you
games.
don't care about owning your games, then it's fine. Yeah, but used games don't exist when games first come out.
Yeah, I used to buy. used
Yeah,
games
unless
from
like
GameFly
there's
a lot.
some stupid person that would buy it day one and then sell it back, and then you can buy it for like $40 or something.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
even then, you have to get like stupid lucky, and yeah, it's still like almost as expensive. So
We had a guy at the replay who he would buy a game new. He would then use his modded Xbox to permanently keep it on his Xbox, and he'd just sell us the disc.
nice.
We all knew he was doing it, and he admitted it, but none of us cared enough to do anything about it.
I mean,
What a dick.
it's not like it was technically against your store's policy or anything.
Wait,
Yeah.
so the guy would buy new copies from you, and
Not,
then
well, not from us.
oh, just in general, he would
sell-
buy
we
new
don't sell them
copies,
exactly.
install them, and then sell them to you.
Yeah, because he had a
What a
modded
dick.
Xbox.
I mean, there's
That's not
nothing
really a
you
dick
can
move.
do about that. I mean, he still bought the game and then sold it. Like he's losing money.
He's just
Yeah.
selling
Or-
it at the most opportune time, and then also keeping it. is kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's scummy, but I'm just like, I mean, in terms
Scummy,
of,
but it's not harmful. Not harmful to people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like, I guess Microsoft still it's better than pirating, I guess. Microsoft still
I mean,
gets the sale, or whoever makes the
yeah,
game still gets the sale.
he technically supports the developer immediately by paying the $60, and then he gets back whatever 20 or whatever from whoever he sells it to. Whatever. Kind
Yeah,
of scummy. Not the worst thing I've ever heard.
yeah, perhaps immoral, but I guess fine.
It's a victimless crime.
Yeah,
Unless you ascribe to the notion that corporations are people.
yeah. I mean, I guess theoretically he might be stealing a second sale from Microsoft because somebody who would have bought it new instead happened to stumble across this used copy, this day one used copy that like never happens.
That's what DLC is for.
But then I guess the
Actually, more
game
common than you
store
think.
gets some money, so at least someone got money. I don't know. All right, who cares?
Yeah, day one used copies are more common than you think.
I believe it. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people who play the game say this game's garbage.
I just beat it in one day and just returned it.
There was that one guy who he beat Sonic Boom in an hour, then used Steam's refund policy to refund it.
Jesus. How do you beat it in an hour?
Did he use the
Sonic
knuckles
Boom.
glitch?
Yeah, did he?
Not Sonic Boom, sorry. Whatever the Sonic Forces,
Oh,
whatever. The most recent one. It was just a bad game overall. It was just
I
really
thought it was
short.
mediocre.
Yeah, I heard it was
You-
like
you-
too short. Like
Well-
just when it's about to get really good, it like the game's over.
Well, yeah, it's not really a matter of the game being short. It's more a matter of the game just not working. It's a very poorly put together thing. Anyways, that's not the topic. I want to go back to gameplay. You see, I used to buy used games on Gameplay. It was actually pretty good because you can get them like Nintendo games for less than $20, which is absurd.
Hmm.
But now every
Never
time I
had
try
it.
to buy something from them, my credit or my bank rejects the transaction for some reason.
Um,
They don't know why. No one can figure out why. So I just all right. I guess I
What?
lost a customer.
I guess open a new credit card just for GameFly.
Huh.
That's personal finance tip of the day. Anyway, we'll talk about personal finance in the second half of the show, since that's
that
our.
can be the topic of one of our new ones.
It sounds like a horrible decision to open up a credit card just for games.
Yeah, don't ever. It's as bad as a decision as opening a credit card at say Macy's. Don't do it.
Yeah, probably not a great idea. Now, opening a credit card in general, probably a good idea. If you don't have one, get a credit card. What y'all doing?
You should.
But anyway, we can talk about that in the second half of the episode.
Second hand.
All right. Anyway,
We can
Apple.
talk about that in the personal finance section.
Speaking of finance, Apple hits $1 trillion market cap. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is a gaming podcast. Why are you talking about Apple? Well, Apple
'Cause
is...
Who cares? We talk about whatever we want.
Hold up. Apple
You don't
is
have to-
also the biggest game seller in the world.
Sure, you're right.
By a lot. So, yeah, anyway. $1 trillion, which is, it's pretty nuts.
Honestly, I'm
They're...
not really that surprised.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised.
I mean, of
Just
all
because
companies
I
who were
joined-
going to hit it first, Apple was probably the most likely to hit it first. Though
I figured
Amazon was trying.
I'm kind
I
of
figured
surprised.
it would have been like Google or something.
Google, yeah.
Google doesn't have a market cap at the level of Apple or Amazon, though. They
Gotcha.
just don't.
Oh.
Like, let's see. Let's see what Google's market cap is right now. Oh, it's actually pretty high. 854. So it's actually just shy of Amazon's.
I'm just curious how.
How is it beating Google?
How
How
is
did
it?
they
Amazon I
get
can
to
see.
a million or a trillion?
Sure.
Apple?
Yeah.
Well, there's a few things. I guess the most interesting thing is this $1 trillion value right now is probably an overvalue. It will almost certainly correct tomorrow or over the next few weeks.
Oh, I see. Okay.
They're unlikely to maintain it, at least for any significant period of time. And because part of it was on yesterday they released their Q3 earnings, which were spectacular, which helped jump their stock up about $11, and that put
Nice.
them that put them about, I think, $8 away from hitting that trillion mark. So basically, lots and lots of news articles published all over the place. Like, Apple's about to hit a trillion. Apple's about to hit a trillion. And that hype was enough to give it that extra push, that extra 3% push to push them over the $1 trillion mark.
It's a spicy meatball.
Yep, so they ended today with a stock price of $207.39, which is enough to put them at a market cap of $1.002 trillion. So they just made it.
So how does the stock, like, how does that stuff work? Because it's like when I never understood it when it's like, when like say an executive is accused of something bad or like somebody leaves a company and then it drops. Is it just like people are nervous and they sell?
Yep,
Is that how that works?
that's all it is. It's purely demand for the stock and supply of unbought stock.
So when all these news outlets were saying, "Oh man, they're about to break it," then people were like, "Oh shit, we got to get on that train."
Yeah, gotta get on. Right, you buy into Apple because it's like it's about to surge.
The stock market makes sense now.
Yeah, and then the demand for the stock goes up, and so since so many people are buying it, but there isn't enough available stocks to meet the demand, the price goes up.
It's a system that has no right to work, but somehow does.
It's just their value in the market.
Yeah, it's kind of. It's not even all that accurate of a value in the market. It's just how much people want the stock. Is almost purely what it is, which is interesting.
Got it.
But yeah, and Apple's also been buying back a lot of stock lately.
Excuse me.
So that has also helped a little bit.
Cool.
Because it's usually a sign of good health and financial health in a company. And people like it when companies buy back some stock. It raises the stock price a little bit.
Very nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah, I don't know. It's cool. Kind of sucks that it's Apple, but whatever. I mean, I guess who would I even want to like hit
Bethesda.
it first?
Bethesda.
Bethesda.
Bethesda announced Skyrim on everything. Stock goes up.
Bethesda announces Skyrim in real life.
Skyrim in real. Oh man.
Alduin just kind of shows up, starts killing people. He's like, "All right, who is the Dragonborn? We have a graybeard here. You will call him once he has been awoken." Everyone goes out and
That'd be
tries to
funny
play
if
the
it was like
dragon and
something
dies.
That'd be funny if it was like the thing in SpongeBob. Two people are like, two role players are like yelling at each other, like, "No, I'm Dragonborn. I'm Dragonborn." And Alduin comes down, "Who's Dragonborn?" I am.
Wouldn't that just be LARPing at that point? Skyrim in real
That's
life?
what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the difference. There is a Dragonborn,
But
just no one knows who it is.
Yeah, okay.
You know, it's like kind of like the Rick and Morty thing. Everyone thinks they're a Rick, but they're all really just Jerry.
I haven't seen season 3, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, well,
You haven't watched Rick and Morty.
that's if you've seen any of it, you'd understand.
Jerry? Explain to me. I've seen seasons 1 and 2.
Sorry, I may gotten the name the husband, right? Isn't he Jerry?
Whatever. Next topic.
All right, hold on. Just to sort of finish out this topic, to kind of bring up Mauricio's question, where how is Apple's value higher than Google and Amazon's? And basically, if you look at their revenue, it becomes a little more clear. Google's revenue in 2017 was $110 billion, which is a shit ton of money.
It's a lot of money.
Apple's in
You know
2017
how many lightsabers I could make with that money?
was 230 billion, over double that
Damn.
of Google.
So many sheep.
Apple's and Apple's margins are just higher. Apple sells, their main
Jake
product
agreed
is
with me. Jake agreed with me.
like they make hardware, which usually doesn't bring in a lot of money, but they sell their hardware at a lot higher margins than most people can get away with.
Because they're Apple.
Yeah, and then the App Store
Literally.
pushes lots and lots of money.
We see.
So, like the App Store pulled in the last quarter pulled in $10 billion in sales
Wow.
in 3 months. So they're making $3 billion a month on the App Store / iTunes. So
That's pretty cool.
that's pretty nuts.
I see how they're.
That's a lot of money. And yeah, iPhone sales are up 20% this summer over last summer. So
Really?
yeah,
Why? Well,
it kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense just because there's 2 flagship models out right now, the 8 and the X.
who bought the 10? Was it
So-
popular?
Hey,
The
it's not
10?
10, it's X.
It's X.
It's
Whatever.
X.
Yeah,
Whatever, dude.
yeah.
It's
Lots of people
hey.
bought the X.
No, the X matters. Mega Man X came out the same year as Mega Man 6. Okay, X, different thing.
Yeah, though Apple being Apple, their operating system used to be called OS X, but they always said OS 10. They're like, because it was the 10th operating system.
Right.
Because they went from OS 9 to OS X, but that actually meant 10. So they'd always say
Yeah,
OS 10. But now with the iPhone X, and they actually say X, it's very confusing. They're like, oh, it's not the 10, it's the X. Like, well,
What?
make up your damn mind.
It's not the 10, it's an X. Don't be a fucking idiot.
Why did they skip 9?
They didn't. It's
Well,
not 10.
did it.
It's the X.
okay, I got it. Okay. Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
good. I'm still confused. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. They're about to make it more confusing. Rumors are pointing that it's about to become more confusing, and it's going to be the iPhone 8s and the iPhone XS.
They're
So
They're gonna call the good old fashioned Xenoblade.
See,
Count,
they already
count from 1 to X to 2.
oh yeah, there you go. There's
See,
another example.
They kind of did that. They did that with the Xbox One. It was the Xbox One, then the One S, then the One X.
Yeah, no one can name a fucking product anymore.
The
No,
new Nintendo
it's all
3DS.
dumb.
The only one
Yeah,
who's doing
the
it.
new Nintendo 3DS.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. You couldn't have did it. You couldn't have done it the Super 3DS or anything. The 3DS Advance.
Oh yeah, Super 3DS. That would have been a good idea.
It would have been a good name, the Super 3DS. But
Yep.
no.
That would
I
have been
want
a
a
good name.
new 3DS. Come on.
It's like with the new Super Mario Brothers. I can only imagine what that was like back then trying to buy that game. Excuse me, do you have the new Super Mario Brothers? What? Which one? The new one. Yes, I understand that, man. No, the new Super Mario.
And they made it
Come on,
worse.
them.
They made it worse because then the Wii U version was New Super Mario Brothers U.
Yeah.
They just added a U to the end.
Yeah.
U became. They were trying to make the U and Wii U the new Super in Super Nintendo. It didn't work.
Yeah. Zombie U. All those games.
New Super Mario Brothers U, Super Smash Brothers for Wii U and 3DS, the worst
Garbage
game
game.
title of all time.
They actually could have come up with a subtitle. I didn't get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess it's
During the Wii U era,
4.
During the Wii U era, they just gave up on naming things at all.
Maybe they did that for the casuals that never like kept track of the actual subtitles. Because they were just like, because all the time, whenever you're playing a game that's part of a franchise, you're like, oh, did you play the new Halo or the new COD or whatever? People just like eventually stop using the subtitle. So maybe they were just going with that, like, oh, have you played Smash on 3DS? That kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see what they were probably going for. It didn't work.
See, the problem I have is that Smash Ultimate is still Smash U.
Excuse me?
Oh, he means like physics-wise? Is that what you mean?
No, I mean like by title.
Oh, I get it.
Oh, it does still have a U. Not in
It
Japan.
does.
In Japan, it's Smash
Special.
Special.
That's stupid.
Yeah,
See, they're just copying Skyrim at that point.
that's why it's Ultimate in the U.S.
Man, they should put Dovahking in Smash.
No, they
They have
shouldn't.
them in one of the games. I don't remember which one. It's one of those, fake ones.
All right, speaking of fake stuff, Steam game.
Mia Khalifa's titties.
No.
We are.
You want to get kicked off this show?
No, I don't.
That leads to our next topic. Mia Khalifa's boobie got hit by a hockey puck and exploded.
Is there a video?
And then she had to have
No.
corrective surgery, I believe.
Oh, that's
She's
actually
going to
really
have
rough.
corrective surgery in 2019.
Yeah.
That's rough.
She's got to wait a year? Or
Yeah.
however many months?
Yeah.
What the hell? She's got all that porn money. She can't just schedule a surgery like a week from now?
So sometimes these
The
things
extra-
take time, or she might have to
Someone
heal
who
from
sees
the
it-
injury first before they could do the surgery, probably. That's pretty common. So first you got to heal, and then they can do the surgery.
I'll go to the gym tomorrow and ask the girls that work there because they're all going for nursing school. It's like, all right, Mia's Khalifa
Yeah, what
tibia
is that?
exploded. How come she can't get the surgery now? And they'll be like, well,
I mean, by
are you
corrective,
saying, Mitch?
I was just saying by corrective surgery because they're just putting in a new implant, right? That's the surgery. So
I have no clue.
I mean, I guess you got to make sure it's make sure it lines up right and.
well, yeah.
Exactly.
So then, but then when you want to have to have the tissue healed first, because then even if they made it good then, but then
I
she
would.
heals afterwards,
I
it would
want
get
them to take that shit out right now.
misformed. Well, it's probably
I mean,
already.
if it bursted, the silicone is like not staying in the right area, I guess.
And they might have been able to drain that out though, like without
Ah.
surgery, or maybe it just doesn't matter.
Maybe we're all engineers and we don't know.
That's true. I know nothing about like prosthetics or no, what is that? Plastic surgery. There we go.
That's it.
So, or breast implants. But anyway, talking about our real topic.
We like titties.
Yes, I do. Have a problem.
Not in a misogynistic way. We appreciate the human form. Female
Respect for
form
women.
is.
All right.
Yes, true.
Well, moving on to
Get
classier
consent,
topics.
everybody.
Here we go. Yes, I agree with that last statement. So there's a PC platformer that was on the Steam store called Abstractism.
Okay.
That is one of a few games that have been accused of cryptojacking people's machines, or using
really?
using their resources to mine for cryptocurrency. So this
Yes.
game, it was a very simple 2D platformer, not very graphically intensive, but people were noticing that it was eating up quite a lot of graphics power to run this game. And yeah, basically it was there was a few games that were found that were just like pretty simple, straightforward games that were using the extra resources available on the PC to mine cryptocurrency for the
Shout out to
creators.
Mary.
Dang,
For,
those
sharing
dang
this topic.
crypto jackers.
So yeah, this is pretty bad. So
Yeah, this is really messed up.
yeah, basically it was a virus. The game was malware, just straight up malware, that was being sold on Steam. And I mean,
Remember when Steam actually looked at stuff they put up? Where the hell did Mitch go?
I don't know. He just drunk.
I thought he was about to back me up. I could feel it. All right. Yeah, but that's messed up. They didn't even like check. They're just like, oh yeah.
oh god, okay, this is actually hysterical. This is a quote from the developer of the game. Abstractism
You
does
got-
not mine
y'all got fucked.
Abstractism does not mine any of cryptocurrency. Probably you are playing on high graphic settings because they take a bit of CPU and GPU power required for post-processing effects rendering. And now
It's a-
here's the author of the article says it's worth reiterating this game's graphical style was just about as simple as possible.
yeah, like
It seems strange that any of its graphical settings would make any difference, as it doesn't appear to actually change the visual quality of the game. And
you
like
actually think that would work?
this game is like actually like the main character of this game is a white square. And you jump along walls and platforms which are just white outlines on a screen. There's no backgrounds, there's not even color in the game as far as I know. It's not intensive to run this game
What if?
whatsoever.
What if? Now hear me out.
Mhm.
It's 2D, right?
Yeah.
What if the whole joke is that, like, yeah, it just looks like he just made a white square, but it's actually on a 3D plane, and all those shapes are comprised of a whole bunch of very small, very, very tiny polygons, but you can't tell at all because you didn't put any texture or lights that like that could show that they're all different polygons. So it's like this insanely complicated square jumping over insanely complicated squares, but you can't tell because it's all just white. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that seems very likely.
I'm just saying, wouldn't that be hilarious? If like somebody actually looked into it, they're like, "Holy shit, why did?"
It wasn't actually
Yeah,
bit mining. It was an actually
that'd be
high
hilarious.
graphic.
That'd be an interesting experiment.
Yeah. Also, this game also makes outgoing network connections despite this being an offline game, which is suspect.
Okay, well that's different.
Which is yeah, very suspect in this whole thing. And then
Okay.
and also apparently some researchers put it onto a virtual machine and found that the resource usage is unrelated to the graphical rendering, as in there's a lot of GPU power that was not going into actually drawing polygons on the screen, so that kind of kills that theory.
Damn it.
And it causes a, quote, huge amount of network activity, which is pretty weird for a single player
For an
platformer.
offline game.
That's
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Also, this game has done other sketchy things too. The game created an item in the Steam the Steam Marketplace that had the same name and art as an extremely rare Team Fortress 2 weapon.
Oh no.
And it sold really well on the Steam Marketplace because people were thinking it was the Team Fortress 2 item, but it was actually useless.
What a dick.
And the item does nothing in the Abstractism game either. It did absolutely nothing.
What an asshole.
So is this guy getting arrested or like,
Wouldn't get
person who made the
arrested.
game?
He didn't really do anything. Well, okay, the crypto mining thing might be. I don't know if it's. I guess it's not really illegal. You downloaded the game yourself. It's sort of a gray area, I guess.
Yeah. He did that
But
one-
it's definitely against the Valve TOS, and
yeah,
Valve could sue them.
they're not going to.
Probably not. It's just not worth it to them.
How many people
They're
did
gonna
this
do
affect?
what they do whenever they find a cool game. They're
Yeah.
gonna hire the guy, implement it into their next game. Half-Life 3 is gonna have crypto jacking, but it's gonna be Half-Life 3, so everybody's gonna play it.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Half-Life 3 had crypto mining. Or like some virus that killed your computer when it started.
Oh my god, that'd be terrible. You start your computer, Half-Life 3.
It crashes your computer
Crashes
or
your
something.
computer.
That'd be beautiful. To be fair,
That's terrible.
I at one point in time accidentally created my own malware at work. Where
Why?
it was a program that started up with the system, but like it was like a mission critical program. So if it failed to start up, the machine would restart. But I made a mistake in the code, and it would instantly crash when it opened,
Oh
which
my
means
God.
the computer would reboot forever, and you would never be able to boot it, ever.
Did you destroy that computer?
So you'd be stuck in reboot for all of time.
Jake
No, I did not
Huber.
destroy the computer.
Okay.
I had to just completely wipe out the OS and start over. That's fine. The setup I had, that was no big deal. It was just 2 minutes to kill it and start anew. But still, you definitely can accidentally write malware. It happens sometimes. But anyway, moving on. This weekend, for those who don't know, is EVO 2018, which is the biggest fighting game tournament in the world.
Is it in the world or is it only in like the West?
In the world.
I think it's in the world.
Oh, okay.
It's the largest and longest running fighting game tournament in the world. So,
Awesome.
yeah, it's a neat event. Somewhat with a somewhat controversial operator, but
Why? What happened?
he just doesn't seem to understand. He's a bit of an FGC elitist. I guess he's more controversial.
Oh, he's one of those assholes.
He's more controversial about, Smash Bros. And stuff.
What do you say about Smash?
Well, I mean, he's saying that there will never be 2 Smash games on finals day ever again.
Smash is for pussies.
That's really that controversial? I could see that opinion.
Yeah, but it's kind of... I think it is controversial because of all the games that make it to finals day.
The most popular.
Smash
Okay.
is... Smash, it's literally... The 2 Smash games in Street Fighter V are by far the most popular games at the event, with number of entrants and number of viewers.
So like a casual audience seeing Evo, they're gonna see Smash and they're gonna think Melee and Wii U are like the same game. Even though they're completely different games.
I mean, I don't think casual viewers would really would
Like
I don't think.
Well, I mean, casual
who are
viewers... Yeah, casual viewers would look at all the
who are
fighting
that
games and
casual.
say... Yeah,
when I
so
say
what I-
casual,
what-
okay.
How
People
about y'all let me
outside of the
finish?
Smash
How about I get
community.
what I want to say in? God damn it.
Go ahead.
I'm saying I don't think people who are that casual that they'll see both games and think, oh, it's the same thing. I don't think those people will be watching. Like, you can be casual, but you'll at least be able to discern, oh, that's clearly a different game.
I'm saying even if they are like that casual, they would probably think basically the same thing about the other fighting games there. Like, oh, the 2D fighters probably look more similar to one another than Smash Bros. Games, to be honest. Than Wii U and
because
Melee.
all the characters at least look different, and the life bars are different, and all this stuff.
I mean, the life bars and stuff are different in the Smash games.
Yeah, but they're
But-
still very close to each other. It's
And also very different characters. Like the top characters that you would see at top 8 in Melee are very different than the top 8 characters you would see in Smash Wii U.
But a casual person will discern, oh, those are Nintendo characters. That makes sense because it's a Smash game.
Nah, no one
You know
knows who
what I'm
Bayonetta is.
Oh my god. Whatever. The Evo is here. Watch some cool stuff. I don't
Yeah.
think Killer Instinct is there. It hasn't been there in like a couple of years, I think.
Yeah, it's not good.
I mean,
Well,
is that true? I think KI
Killer
has.
Instinct had a good run.
think it-
Main,
Yeah, it's not a main stage event. Which
No.
KI
I mean, it makes
KI
sense.
is the
He's a-
coolest looking fighting game.
Ooh, nice.
But
Take that, Mortal Kombat X.
that's the
Uh, Mortal Kombat ain't nothing.
Damn, he said it.
Yeah, I did say it.
I'm surprised Injustice 2 is there.
Why is that surprising?
I think it was that popular.
Really?
I mean, I'm kind of outside of the FGC, so.
Right, but I mean,
ignore my
I feel,
opinion.
no, yeah, but like those games, at least the NetherRealm games, it's pretty much like the newest one is gonna be there, because I feel like after MK9 came out and it was just so good that people were like, "Oh man, this is great," and then Injustice came out and it was like, "Oh, Injustice, this is cool," and it's a playable enough game. But I see what you're saying. I wouldn't really see it as a competitive thing, or at least competitive enough to merit going to Evo.
Mhm.
My only real question about Smash Bros. Then in this event is why is Melee at 10:30 a.m.
Because only
Yeah.
kids are gonna watch it. Heyo.
You sound like the FGC.
Why is it I mean, like Street Fighter V as the primetime event makes sense. Like that's fine.
Right.
But Melee should probably be the second one or at least the third one.
I would think it'd be right before Street Fighter 5.
Like it's before Tekken. Who cares about Tekken 7?
Odd decision. Oh, Fighter Z's. Okay, I would think it would be like right under Tekken 7. Because Fighter
the
Z's
a-
really hyped
Yeah.
up.
In the
Yeah.
actual FGC, of course they're gonna care about Tekken, dude. Like, come on.
Hey, at least Melee got above Guilty Gear. But no, okay, what I'm saying is this Melee is getting like
It's
Melee
so popular.
Melee has had the number 2 prime slot more than once. and it's worked out really well for the event. So it's sort of like mind-numbingly confusing that they would put the second most watched game by far at Evo
Right.
is
Melee was a mistake.
gets
Melee.
tucked down at 10:30 a.m.
Melee and anime and Star Wars, they were all mistakes.
Yeah. So I don't know, and Smash Wii U is not on the finals day at all. But that's whatever, I guess.
Why would it be?
I mean, it was last year.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, it was last year, but
No,
Melee
I
wasn't.
keep forgetting that was literally the last Smash Bros. To come out.
Yeah.
I don't know why I forgot that.
Yeah, which was part of the reason why it was on finals day last year, and that was fine. That was probably its last big hurrah anyway, because next year Smash Wii U will not be at Evo. It won't be at anything, so
It might even be a Smash Con.
it might be at SmashCon. It'll only be novel because it's the last game that has footstooling in it. Footstool combos, rather.
Right.
What is that?
Like, okay, like if you jump on someone's head in the Smash Bros. Game, they kind of fall. They like tumble. And it's called footstooling. In all the games that have footstooling, which is just Brawl and Smash 4, when they land on the ground, they're helpless in those games, so you can like combo them abusing that mechanic, which makes for some really flashy, cool looking combos. But Smash Ultimate is removing the mechanic, so you can tech it like any other hits or fall or etc. So footstooling is no longer special,
Gotcha.
which is fine. It's just, I don't know. I guess that's the one thing that might keep Smash Wii U at novel events. That's all I can come up with. And I guess Bayonetta being super broken, because she probably won't in Ultimate, but
Ooh, what's that?
Bayonetta means. I don't know. Sometimes it's fun to go play Meta Knight and Brawl. He's a fun character. I'm sure Bayonetta's a fun character for Bayonetta means. Or something. But anyway, Evo, you should watch it if you're interested in fighting games or competitive gaming in general. You should particularly tune into Smash Bros. Melee at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. So, if you live in
is
the
this on
Central
Saturday?
Time Zone, like we do, 12:30 p.m. will be
Yeah, Melee's
start
on
time, I believe,
Sunday.
unless I'm crazy.
Melee's
Yeah.
on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Melee's on Sunday.
Oh, then who cares? It's gonna be Sunday. Like everybody's gonna be able to watch that. It's so early. On a day where you just sit there and don't do anything.
Oh, yeah,
Sunday's
yeah,
like the
yeah.
easiest day.
It's fine.
But like he's saying, it should be later in the evening because that's when most of the views come.
It should be, but whatever.
It should be below Tekken 7. At least.
Yeah, it should be after Tekken 7.
I see why Fighter Z's there because it's the
Yeah,
new highlight.
yeah. Fighter Z isn't surprising. That I'm okay with Fighter Z taking Melee's number 2 slot, just because it's the new hype fighting game.
Right.
But Tekken 7, come on, man.
Tekken 7 makes sense.
Does it?
Okay.
It does. If you're in like the fighting game community and you know about Tekken, Tekken's like one of the most technical fighting games out there, and it's always been very, very popular.
Not the most technical fighting game. I mean, what? All right.
It's technically
just-
Melee.
If you, I mean, sure, I'm not here to fight that, but if you really invest the time to learn Tekken, it's an incredibly complex, like most games, but still, just to me it makes sense with its history and the FGC and everything.
Yeah, it's just about
View.
popularity, views, and entrance. Like
Are
there's
there more entrants to Melee than there are for Tekken?
Oh yeah. For
crap
sure.
ton. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, let's see.
At least that's how it was last year. I'd be surprised.
Oh no. Tekken does have more entrants this year.
Really?
Yeah, that
Nailed it.
does.
What?
To be fair, Smash has to split between 2 games. The 2 Smash games added together have more entrants than any other fighting game
Well,
But they're
at
different
Evo.
games.
But it is
Yeah,
2 different games. So individually.
So that argument was like moot. There's no
Yeah.
point because they're different games.
Yes, it
It's
is.
all right, Jake. I know you like Smash, but come on.
Well, I'm just saying. The
Okay,
Smash community is bigger than the Tekken 7 community. But
That's irrelevant.
well, it's not irrelevant to views. Melee will almost certainly get more views than Tekken 7.
Maybe
I mean,
not.
maybe not because of the timing. I mean, every year that Melee's been on Sunday, it's always gotten either the most number of views or the second most number of views. And it only ever loses to Street Fighter 5/4.
7 is like 200 more. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it is primarily a fighting game tournament.
Melee isn't the fighting game.
You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
A typical
Melee
fighting
isn't
game.
a fighting game. The creator said so. It's meant to be a party game. I don't know what you guys said. All right, I'll stop. Next topic.
All right. Nintendo Switch is getting GameCube style controllers.
Oh yeah, those are cool.
Yeah.
It
They're
kind of I don't maybe I'm just a plebeian, but I thought it was so interesting and kind of frustrating just from the outside looking in on how they will not let this controller die, or maybe not them, but nobody will let this controller die because it was like such a good design from like everybody always using it for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great controller. I love it. And I really like how with this new one, it's totally an option, but you can like the C stick is magnetic like the Xbox One Elite controller, so you can take it out and put it with a stick that's more analogous to the actual analog stick on the GameCube.
Yeah, like
that's such a cool feature that I love. I love modularity and being able to customize it, especially if it's
For
like
sure.
a premium controller, you know.
For sure. Also,
I just think those are the coolest
they have the
Also, what?
extra trigger on this controller, which is cool. They
extra trigger.
yeah, on the there's two triggers on the left side. The GameCube controller doesn't have an extra trigger on the left side. It just
Are
has
you talking about
a
the Z
bumper.
button?
Yeah. There's only a Z
Okay.
button, but there's no Z button on the
Gonna
left
say.
side. But now they've got
Now they've done it.
yeah, they
The
have it on
LR
this one.
Now they got the LZRZ.
Yeah, now they got bumpers on both sides above the triggers, so
Cool.
that's
One thing I'm kind of upset about is like Metroid always gets shafted whenever they do stuff like this, because like Hori when Smash Wii U was like still big and they were making peripherals for that, they made Mario, you know, classic stuff like Mario and Zelda theme one. It was more
Yeah.
Zelda. It was like Link colors, and then you know the Mario Brothers and Peach and Pikachu, which is what they did again for this. But it's like, come on, dude! Like Ridley is confirmed. Samus Returns just came out. Prime 4 is like on the way.
maybe
Like,
they're
why
waiting
not
for
make
Prime
a
4.
Metroid themed controller?
Maybe when Prime 4 comes out, a Metroid theme controller will happen. I mean, on the Wii
Yeah,
U,
but-
it kind of makes sense because there weren't any Metroid games for the Wii U, so
Yeah, well, I guess. Yeah, you're right. But that would make I feel like the whole point they're making these GameCube controllers is for Smash. If you're gonna play the new Metroid, I wouldn't want to use an old controller before using the new control scheme. It just doesn't like they're designing it for this new controller. I
that's
wouldn't
probably
assume
true.
I wouldn't assume them to be like, hey, let's make this old design and just release it for the game when it comes out, instead of the game that everybody is gonna buy this controller for. You know,
Yeah,
like when Prime 4 comes out, I'm getting a Switch for it, especially if they make a Metroid Special Edition one. But it's like I'm not gonna go buy another controller that's Metroid themed just to play the new one. I'm gonna play it with the default controller.
yeah, it's not too late. It could still happen. Also, this is
Yeah.
they're not even releasing them outside of Japan yet, so this is
Right.
Japan exclusive.
Oh bullshit! What the fuck?
So
That
Yeah,
sucks.
How
You know what?
good,
I'll
Go.
like what you said, Jake. I'll hold my breath because when Samus Returns was announced, they didn't announce the special edition 3DS until a couple weeks after. And I complained to Julian about that, and literally the next day he's like, "Yeah, they announced the special edition 3DS." Like literally the day after I complained to Julian.
I remember that.
that's pretty funny.
Oh, it was glorious.
So also, this controller is slated to only cost $27. So
No way.
yeah,
Yeah, 2677.
Either the plastic is gonna not feel great, or some of the buttons are not gonna feel
yeah.
great.
I'm not even that worried about I'm worried about the triggers and the joysticks.
I've never liked a third-party GameCube controller.
Yeah,
So-
Hori's
I
supposedly
did.
Hori's have been fine.
GameStop. Oh, I thought you were talking about like the old. I thought you were talking about like third-party controllers for the OG GameCube.
But yeah, those were all
Um,
garbage. Every single
Oh,
one I
okay.
ever had was terrible.
Yeah.
No, I had one that was fine. It never broke on me. It was good.
I had
but,
a
um,
Madcast one. It was
Yeah, Mad Catz,
Yeah.
Mad Catz, like they felt terrible and they were terrible.
my beat
Hey,
button was
mine
like
lit
this-
up and it was fine. I used that thing for years. Nothing bad.
The button on mine, on the ones I had, the two ones I had, the buttons felt really bad, and the
Yeah.
triggers like got worse like pretty quickly.
Gotcha.
And I mean, the sticks were for the most part fine, though they never felt as good as the originals. They never sprang back as good. But
So the Hori controllers that they did back in the day for Smash Wii U, they would like they would plug into the end of a Wiimote, but their L and R triggers were not like the plunger ones with springs with a momentary switch at the end for the full press. They didn't do that. It was just a tack switch like the whole time. So you didn't have that travel or like squeeze to it. It was just on or off. So if they do that again, that's gonna suck, and that would kind of
Yeah,
make
that would
sense
suck.
with the price range. But other than that, I mean, if they kind of do that same thing,
it doesn't look like it. Just well, I don't know. It kind of does actually. It doesn't look like they have nearly as much of the
Do the
travel
shoulder-
distance. Yeah, the shoulder
do
button.
the shoulder buttons have curves or are they flat?
They do have curves, but their travel distance is definitely way shorter than the OG GameCube controllers.
Yeah, they're probably not. They're probably again. These are probably not even like meant to be competitive. They're probably just meant to be like, oh,
Oh,
here's
yeah,
a cool
no, for sure.
throwback.
Yeah, I mean Nintendo's
Which, you know what, that
Nintendo's
wouldn't make
re-releasing
sense,
the
though.
official one anyway.
Hold on, no,
so.
that wouldn't make sense if they were doing this for like a casual thing because nobody cares about the C-stick thing. That's only a competitive thing. So it wouldn't make sense for them to cheap out on the other stuff if they're deliberately putting in that feature. Now I'm confused. Now I'm starting to-
Corey is confused. Is a confusing company, to be fair.
Not really. They do some okay stuff.
That's the thing though. They have both markets in mind when they make their products. They're like for the cheap hardcore gamer. Like you're a hardcore gamer, but you can't afford to be.
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean,
Maybe.
I'm not saying that that's actually what they're doing,
No,
but that's
yeah,
what it kind of feels like. They put in these features that only like the hardcore competitive crowd would care about, but they're making the cheaper end of peripherals for the most part.
Right. I see what you're saying. I did buy an arcade stick from them, the Hori Real Arcade Pro V Kai for the Xbox One, and it also had a switch that made it work on the 360. And that was cool because they designed a whole new analog stick for it that you could switch out. You could change out the actual switch board in there and put in different shafts and stuff. So it was meant for like the custom person. And it was really cool. So like, and it was like it worked on 2 consoles and stuff. So I actually like their products for that. Or at least that one was really good in my opinion. But I can see what you're saying for their other more mass market stuff because that itself was a premium product. Fight sticks are like
Yeah, and those are a
Almost
little more
always
niche in a
more
way.
than 100.
Well, I don't know about
Yeah.
I don't know about niche, but
No, yeah, you're absolutely right.
and they
Fighting
really are
games-
for like one type of game and one type of
Yeah,
game.
they're
only.
only for like strict fighting game people, and that is a niche market in the
Yeah.
grand scheme of things.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. So Hori controller is really cool. Make a Metroid one, please. Next topic.
All right. Smash Bros. Blog. I'm trying to remember what was actually the topic here.
The Lilacs.
Oh yeah, it hints that that Lilat
It's
still
gonna be
still
good.
tilts around and stuff, but like that's fine.
Ooh.
What did you want? Like they're not going to change the stage. What if the tilting of the stage is considered a stage hazard? So the stage hazard mode turns it off.
I can
Hmm.
see that, yeah.
Also, it doesn't
Probably-
matter. It looks like we're gonna have so many neutral stages in the new Smash game that like
Yeah.
we don't need Lilat. We don't need it anymore. There's
Hopefully.
two gosh darn many stages. I don't even think we have to say hopefully at this point. Like even without the no like what's that? Even without the no stage hazard, the stage hazard toggle, like even then there's still a lot of stages. This game has so many stages.
Not if
It's not.
the community implements the season thing.
Yeah, well, we might have to just because of how many stages there are.
Right?
What
How
about
many neutral
seasons?
stages? So there's an idea in the competitive Smash community that there might be so many stages, like legal stages in the Smash Ultimate, that they really can't have all of them be legal at the same time, because then integral parts of competitive Smash, like stage striking and whatnot, just wouldn't be possible, which kind of kills the dynamic of the game. So they would have seasons where basically they would announce, for every 6 months or every year or whatever, here's our stages, or every 3 months. Here are the stages that all big tournaments ought to follow, and it'll just sort of be the community agreeing on some set of stages to sort of rotate through every couple of months.
That'd be interesting. Kind of
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting, keep things fresh. It would also be interesting. You'd probably see like the tier list like change a little bit from season to season too. It'd be kind of interesting. And they would probably have to shuffle. They'd probably have to shuffle it around every now and again to try to make it more balanced. It'd be interesting.
It makes the game more interesting to watch, especially if it borrows assets from Smash 4 and all the combos are kind of boring.
Right. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, wow, they did three different things on the 31st. Lilat, Galaga, Medley, and Fake Smash Ball. Fake Smash Ball. Okay, can we agree that the Fake Smash Ball is like the most pointless new item added to this game?
It's fun. Why do you hate it?
It's just like it's not. I kind of wish it just looked like the normal Smash Ball. Why is it? It looks so obviously different. Like on first glance, you can immediately tell if it's a fake one versus a real one.
Yeah, no, I agree with Jake, because it's like, it's fake, you're not gonna go for it. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, they just rotated the logo 180 degrees. That's it.
Maybe in the heat of the moment, and you're a little kid, you won't notice, and it'll make the game more fun.
I think that's what they're going.
I think that's what they're going for, but I don't know. They overcorrected. It's too obvious.
Embrace your inner child, Jake.
It needs to be more subtle.
They're like the fake item boxes from Mario Kart.
Yeah, that's true. But at least like that's a little like faster paced and stuff. Like, and you're driving on a track, like it's pretty easy to just not hit the Smash Ball. I don't know.
Yeah, it's easy to not hit the fake item box too.
But at least the fake item box is like in your path. The Smash Ball moves generally away from you. Like it's not gonna like get in your way. It's gonna be like floating off in the distance.
Into your way?
That would be more interesting if it like chased people around and like try to get in their hitbox. It's not too late. They might do something like that. That would be fun. Then I would accept the new item, because then it would be like scary. Because like it's the fake Smash Ball, but like you don't want to like throw out an attack and have it like get in the way at the last moment and kill you. That'd be cool. I like that idea. All right, next topic.
I want Simon Belmont.
Speaking of Nintendo, Nintendo under fire for not improving supply lines and sourcing minerals from conflict zones.
Yeah, Nintendo's skunk.
I'm sorry, what?
Nintendo isn't unique in this, but yes, I agree.
What is this?
Basically, there's minerals and such that Nintendo uses in the manufacturing of their products that are sourced from conflict regions within Africa.
Oh my god, really?
So, yes, as in potentially there are some minerals and stuff in Nintendo's supply chain that are mined by potentially, warmongers or slave runners or things like that.
Little African children?
Could be.
Potentially, yes.
Starvin' Marvin is
Yes,
giving me...
specific minerals being gold, tin, tungsten, and tantalum. So, which, yes, Nintendo does use in all their products. These are all sort of important for electronics manufacturing.
It's fucked up.
So, yeah. And apparently, in 2014, Nintendo was only able to certify 47% of its suppliers weren't committing human rights violations. In 2016, that number improved to 72%. And went to 76% in 2007. but that's still not amazing.
So pretty
When
bad.
did Iwata pass away? What year?
2015.
2015.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is under Iwata's watch.
Yeah.
Oh, Iwata. Why?
This is definitely a complicated issue, as it is very difficult for
To change supply chain and stuff.
not even just change supply chain, to even verify where things in your supply chain come from.
Right.
And it's extremely hard for companies at scale. Mind you, I don't know the numbers. I don't know if 76% is particularly horrible for knowing percentage of supply chain. I know Walmart was a company that was also under fire for this a year or two ago for basically the same problem. They couldn't validate a huge amount of their supply chain on whether or not there was human rights violations in their supply chains.
Jeez.
So
The last paragraph of this article is interesting. Apple is at the top for having the best record for ethical sourcing.
Are you serious?
So they'll be the worst, yeah.
see, Apple apparently
That's
doesn't want to
interesting.
source their
I'll give them more props for their high prices.
yeah, but at the same time, Apple is not by any means at the top for ethical work conditions in their factories.
Two different things. Yeah.
So that's a different human rights violation.
Like Amazon, like people having to tape bottles to their legs so they piss while they work.
Yeah, I heard about
Yeah, well, at Amazon's different. That's more like
That's
just
a
a toxic company
company
culture,
Yeah.
more so than like there are people at there was the whole thing a few years ago, especially where people at the Foxconn factories making iPhones were committing suicide, and they had to put up big nets at the base of the big apartment buildings where the employees lived, because the employees basically all lived at the factory for the most part. Like they were supplied, they were given housing as part of the job.
Man, that's a depressing life.
Yeah, it is.
I would not want to live in the same place that I work. It's like my whole life is spent in this one building.
Yeah, it's not exactly the same building, but yeah, same campus, really. I mean, I guess that's what it's like when you're at school, right? And you live there.
Yeah,
and
but
you work there. I'm not trying to make light of this. That they definitely have like way worse conditions, like unthinkably
I don't
worse.
know. IIT was pretty bad.
Not comparable to
no, I wouldn't call it comparable.
I don't know.
But you're
That
right.
One time
You're right.
I went to go to the bathroom and I was doing my thing, and oh, here's a roach. Oh, that's nice. I'm allergic to those things. Please don't touch me.
the Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Fix your shit, IIT. Thank you for my degree. I appreciate it.
Yep. So yeah, this is interesting.
I mean, I'm not really that surprised Nintendo is.
Yeah, I'm more just curious on what other companies are. To be fair, Nintendo does sort of position themselves as like this family company and all this stuff. So it's a particularly it's a particularly bad look for them.
Right.
Yeah, I'm surprised this happened to Nintendo. Just like what Jake said, their image to me is a pretty pure one. Like, oh, what bad can Nintendo do besides? I mean, like strictly bad, like releasing stuff or not making anything incredibly new. That's whatever.
Yeah,
But
and in all fairness,
like
these things do take a lot of time if they want to. I mean, unless they want a huge disruption to their product manufacturing. So there's sort of an interests problem here.
See, I have an opinion. Like, if they're a national global company, then they've probably done some dirt. I think it's safe to assume.
Well, yes, at least. Yeah, this is kind of larger scale. Just because, this is the bottom of their supply chain. Like, it's kind of fundamental. But I honestly have no idea what it looks like for other companies. And that'd be interesting. That'd be some interesting statistics to see comparisons.
Microsoft maintains a better certification percentage, and Sony's survey return is behind every other company.
ooh,
Yeah, Sony being one of the worst is not particularly surprising.
That's surprising.
But they got those games.
Yeah, don't give Sony your money if you can avoid it. Mind you, of course,
Really?
I have I do
was gonna
have a
say,
PlayStation.
And your girlfriend Erin, who
Yeah.
loves her PlayStation 4.
Yeah, but that's not me. But I have a PlayStation
have
4,
one.
but I don't love it.
Oh, whatever.
And I do. I there's a few more games I want to play on it, and then I'm gonna sell the thing. So.
Oh wow.
Well, there's not that much.
Is that what you do with things, Jake? You use them until you're satisfied, and then you just throw them away?
No. Selling it is not throwing it away. Hold up.
I think they're gonna win.
Then you just
I'm
get
trying
rid
to
of it?
get my money back. Get some.
I got what I wanted out of it.
You have to remember, I bought the thing
Get away.
right before my
out of my
hands,
house.
right before my hands like
Oh, that's
stopped
right,
working. So like I haven't been
Yeah.
able to play like. So I've had the thing for a year, and I've played almost no games on it.
I like the way you phrased that, when my hands stopped working. It's a
Yeah, it's just like
I don't know, just the way you said it was funny.
they just
It's
like
pretty
shut
accurate.
down. Yeah, so that's why I spend all my time playing games that require no button presses.
Should do a diagnostic on your hands.
Yeah, I've been working on it.
I'm surprised you haven't sold your Wii U yet.
What, my Wii U? I'm not gonna sell that thing. There's so many games that have like replay value and stuff. Also, you can't like resell a Wii U. Like it's not worth anything.
Yeah.
Like a PS4 Pro costs a lot more than the Wii U ever did, and I've gotten way less value of it than I could ever hope to on my Wii
Oh
U.
man, you can make cool mods with a Wii U.
Yeah, that too. I can
Okay.
mod my Wii U. I mean, I would never do that, Nintendo.
I would. Oh man, not thinking about it.
All right.
Because, well, I guess it really doesn't.
Moving on to
I guess
our last little topic, which is also more Nintendo news. Not really news. There's a new outfit in Super Mario Odyssey. It looks kind of dopey. That's it.
What?
Oh,
What's
are
the
we
outfit?
skipping the de novo topic?
Oh, I did not have it open. It wasn't bolded when I went through the.
Oh, we can skip it.
I don't remember what it was.
It's the 21-year-old Bulgarian guy that got arrested for cracking de novo.
Oh yeah, that's
Cracking what?
not even that's not bolded, but
For cracking what?
de novo the anti pirating
Software.
DRM software.
Oh shit. Was this like a particularly hard one to get around?
No. Like, well, I mean, it was for a time, but now lots of people have cracked it, and one of the people who cracked it recently got arrested. That's basically the story.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And a 21-year-old,
Sucks for that guy.
yeah, I don't know. The details about that are super sparse, though, so it's hard to say if it's actually because of the de novo crack. Like, he was arrested, and he was part of the de novo hacking community, but that doesn't seem to be much evidence to suggest that it was the de novo crack that got him arrested.
Right.
If he's trying to crack de novo, that's probably not his first rodeo. It's not the first thing he's done.
Right.
So who knows what he got arrested for? And really, that's all there is for today, guys. So it's time to transition to the second half of our show, Personal Finance Hour. So we're going to talk.
Help me with my personal finances. I make money, but I don't spend it well. I want to pay off my student loans, but I don't allocate any money to anything else.
Yeah, I spent a bunch of money on some hookers and drugs like recently.
I can't help y'all with any of that.
Help
But-
us, Jake.
Oh, I was actually just going to throw out one tip. I already said it earlier in the show, but it might come off as a joke. But if you don't have a credit card, get yourself a credit card.
Oh.
That's pretty fundamental.
There's a lot. I just want to
Sometimes
point this
they
out.
won't
There's
give it to you, Jake. Like me, the bastards wouldn't give me a card,
that-
even though I've been doing stuff for years, and they're like, "Nope."
Wow.
I mean, usually the easiest first credit card to get is through a bank that you already have an account with. So
I
if
did that.
if the bank you have offers credit cards, it's usually a good first stepping stone, and they'll give those to literally anyone. So
According to my friend Anthony, you could also start a card, like get an Amazon card, and just buy stuff on Amazon, and
that'll help build
Yeah,
credit.
like honestly, one of the best pieces of like if you have you don't have much income or you don't have any income or whatever, it's still probably a good idea to open a credit card and just have like if you have like a Netflix subscription or a Spotify subscription,
Yeah,
just put that on the
some
credit
kind of
card
payment
and
that
that's
you
it.
can do.
Like you don't even need anything more than that. You just need some line of credit with some amount of activity on it.
It's not pretty fundamental. Like you need to.
Yes, it's. I
You
think
would
it's
think
very.
a lot of
important.
people don't really learn this stuff.
Yeah, this is just one of those things you're
Like
not really
my mom was
taught.
pretty proactive about that when I was little, just because she's experienced having and not having money. So she was pretty like on the thing of like you need to know
Right.
how this stuff works.
Yeah,
But
same.
some people just don't get that at all.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. Anyway, have a credit card. It'll help boost your credit score, which will in the future help you get better credit cards and better loans and
And then you can
loans at
afford
all.
a cool lightsaber from your boy.
Yes, you could do that. Yeah, I just think there's a lot of fear mongering around credit cards. Like,
They're
oh,
fine. Just be responsible.
yeah, be responsible,
don't-
and
Don't be a bitch.
most importantly, like at least for a long time, like keep your credit, like your revolved credit utilization low. So like if you have like $1,000 limit on your card, only use 1 to 5% of that a month.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing.
Only use 1 to 5%.
1 to 5%, correct.
So if
You
I have
wanna
a
keep
$1,000
utilization
limit, I can only use 10 to $50.
Correct.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that you have to have utilization that low. But
Right,
if you
just-
want to improve your credit score the fastest, that's like 5% or lower
Gotcha.
is what creditors want to see. And like part of it is just like over the future, you'll just get credit limits that are higher and higher and higher. And it might, you might have credit limits that seem ridiculous. And that's just because of the nature of the system. Like they expect you to only use like at most 15%. Like reasonably. So it's kind of weird. It's a broken system, but you got to play the game. Like, it's just how it is.
Life's a game, play to win.
Life's a game, play to win. So,
I want
Yeah.
to get a car.
anyway, just don't be irresponsible with the card. Like, that's why a lot of people suggest just put some subscription on it, and then that's it. Like, if you're worried about that, just don't even take it with you places. Just lock it in a drawer. Like,
Just have self-control.
yeah, that too. But not everyone does. And
Yeah,
you know what? In
I
all
was gonna
fairness,
say,
some
we
people
know-
don't.
We know somebody that straight up said, "I don't have control."
Don't
Yeah.
be her.
Yeah, don't be them.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, everyone knows those people and they exist.
Whoa.
And I've
Just
known
got some-
I've had friends who have racked up credit card debt. I've seen it happen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So
we just got
Is
to
it Dan?
smash me.
you have to not do that.
Is it Dan?
It is not
Dan
Dan.
have credit
It's
card
not Dan. It's not anybody you guys know.
I bet it's Dan.
It actually is not Dan.
Yep.
I don't even know if Dan has a credit card. He might. I don't know.
I could smell the debt on him.
He better. Oh,
Smell it down.
we all have debt. Actually, I don't think he has any debt.
We all have debt. Speak for yourself. I'm paying off my loans.
That means you have debt.
That means you have debt.
Oh. Well,
You have student loan debt, do you not?
no, I just always like for some reason it's all those commercials back when I was a kid of like some lady on her kitchen floor avoiding the phone call. It's like you're in debt, you know? That's what I always think of when like I'm in debt. I totally forgot like yeah, technically from the term I am debt. I have debt.
Not even just technically. You absolutely are in debt.
No, I know, but I just always have this image of like I'm in debt when I can't afford to do anything and I'm
Right.
like crying my eyes out.
Yeah, like credit
I mean, I
card
do that every
credit
day,
card
but for
debt
other
is
reasons.
like a different beast. But if
That's what I'm saying.
you can have responsible debt, like debt that you can keep
Yeah.
up with paying. That's
Sometimes that
responsible
is
debt.
Good. As long as you keep up with it.
Yeah. And sometimes like having a little bit of debt is like legitimately a good thing.
Yeah. It's like
'Cause-
stress. Some
Yeah.
stress is good. A lot of stress is not good.
And if you have, especially if you have debt that has very low interest rates, like probably a lot of our student loans is probably very low interest rate debt.
it?
Under 5. Is it? I mean, are any of your loans above 5%?
No, but they're all pretty close to 5, and my mom was like, "You need to pay off those 5% ones as soon as you can,
Yeah, kind of.
because the rest of them are like below." But yeah,
Kind of. The math, it depends. Depends on how much money is left in those loans. Because like a 4% $10,000 loan is more worth paying off faster than a $5,000 5% loan.
right.
Because you're
Right,
accruing
yeah.
interest yeah. Which is also something that's occasionally lost on people. I think most people, once you point it out, like, oh yeah, duh. But sometimes it's like, oh, high interest rate loan, pay that one off like immediately. But it's not always what you want to do. Although, okay, this is the last piece of personal finance advice for those who
No,
have
I'm
student
enjoying this.
for those who have
Not boring.
for those who have student loans, and this is something that I kind of
Or
learned on
will have
accident. You don't want to pay off a bunch of loans simultaneously, as in you don't want them to end simultaneously. You want your loans to close in a staggered way instead of having a bunch close at the same time. Because when you have a bunch of credit accounts close at the same time, it hurts your credit score. Like when you close a credit account, yeah, creditors want you to have more accounts. The more accounts that you have open and are responsibly paying off, the better in general. At a limit. So when you have accounts that are closing, it will you'll take a hit to your credit score. It's a temporary hit usually, as long as you're good about everything else. But
Gotcha.
yeah, when I had because I had paid off my private student loans really quickly, but it means that at one point I had 4 student loans that closed simultaneously, and it ate like 30 points off my credit score.
Damn, I was doing the same thing, Jake. Shit.
Yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't a big deal. It's not like I was going for a loan or trying to open any new credit cards. So, and I've since recovered from it.
Well,
But, if I was, that would have been bad. For that short time, because I would have been, below 700, which is not an ideal situation.
Yeah, I plan to reopen up Netflix when I finally, fix my.
Is
job
700
situation.
like you want to be at 700, or is it just like a goal to strive for? It's not a lot of people have that number, so it's good to go for it.
700 is good.
700 is good. Yeah, like above 650 is where you want to be. Ideally, 700 to 750 is a really nice range to be in.
If you're really good, you want like
800.
800.
Yeah, you can go for the 800. 850 is the absolute maximum credit score. It's not very realistically achievable.
Yeah.
If you have an 800 credit score, that's basically considered perfect. Like anything 800 above is basically a perfect credit score.
If you have
for all
between
intents
like
and purposes.
700 and 750, then like that's you're in a good spot.
You're in a good spot.
Cool.
And
then I'm in a good spot.
Good
Just
to
kidding.
hear.
I don't think I have that good score.
Oh. That's another thing that you should know. You should know your credit score.
You should definitely know your credit score off.
So that's definitely worth looking into. There's a lot of services that will give you your credit score for free. If your bank or your credit card doesn't already give it to you for free, most do these days. Like if you have a credit card, chances are they'll tell you your credit score every month if you look.
If you bank with Chase and use the mobile or desktop app, they have a agreement with TransUnion. They'll give you your credit score.
Yes, your TransUnion credit score. It is important to note that you have 2 or 3 credit scores. Not that that's necessarily that important, but if one, you do kind of want to keep track of them in case one of them is really out of whack for some reason, which is usually due to a mistake, which you would have to contact the credit union to repair. I've never heard of it actually happening to people, but I have seen minor discrepancies in my 2 credit scores that I have. Usually just because one's lagging behind a little bit. Like one showed 3 closed accounts while one showed 4 closed accounts. But then by the next month, they both showed 4. So you'll see some stuff like that. So your 2 credit scores will not always be in balance.
How do I check my other credit scores?
There's a free service called Credit Karma. I'm sure you've seen a million commercials for it, but they will show you all your credit scores that exist.
Okay.
And it's a fine service. It's free.
Nice job,
It's
Credit
free, though they absolutely bomb. Like, their webpage is just like loaded with ads for credit cards. That's basically how they make their money. They're just like, hey, your credit score is pretty good. We've gotten you pre-approved for like 6 credit cards. Well, which one do you want? So just don't click on that crap and you're fine.
Help her brother out.
Yeah. So anyway, that was the weird personal finance part of the show.
It wasn't really weird. That was like, all right. At least I got some use out of it.
Yeah, and I hope some people did. I don't know.
Now here's the Sabersmith part of the podcast.
All right, let's go.
Real quick. We just got Smash news. Delfino Plaza is confirmed to be a returning stage in Smash Ultimate.
Cool.
That's it.
I like Delfino Plaza.
Yeah,
It's,
it's a good
the
stage.
Japanese website for Smash updated the new blog, and it's Rodon, the assist trophy. Yeah, and he's in the Delfino Plaza stage.
Rodon, like from
From-
Bayonetta?
From Bayonetta, yeah.
Okay, got it.
He's an assist trophy in Smash Ultimate.
Also, I don't know where that name comes from, but it's spelled Rodin, but it's
Right.
spelled like, it's French, so it's Rodin, but nobody says, like, nobody wants to pronounce it like a French person, so they just say Rodin. Never mind.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, it's French. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure it's French. Because at least in the opening in the opening cutscene of Bayonetta 1, the guy pronounces it like Rodin. I'm pretty sure Rodin was a composer as well.
So the real question is Wonder Red gonna be in Smash Ultimate?
I can see him as an assist trophy.
I want Simon Belmont.
I do too. Oh, with the leak.
Like, holy shit, what? Why not Simon Belmont? He's got a whip. He's an icon.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a leak that happened not too long ago that had Ridley, Simon Belmont, and Inklings or something. You know,
Sure,
he-
Inklings.
And he's gained a lot of traction because most of the things in that leak were proven true. So people are assuming Simon Belmont is the next one to be proven true.
What characters are popular in the West? Because after you told me that thing about Ridley, I thought that was really interesting. That
The
he's
Captain America thing.
yeah, just that he's so popular in the West that the Japanese community refers to him by that. You know,
I would guess K. Rool and Dixie.
is there like a
Dixie, really? I don't know about Dixie.
I don't know. I'm like, I'm trying to remember like the results from like popularity polls that Gino's popular.
in the West?
I think so. Hold on.
I don't mean strictly. I mean like just more. You know.
Yeah. Banjo Kazooie,
Okay, yeah, that makes
yeah.
sense.
Captain Toad.
No. Who cares?
No.
Captain Toad is like ripe for being an assist trophy.
Yeah.
I think he could have a unique
I like
move.
the Captain Toad levels in New Super Mario Brothers U though. Or no, shit, that's not what it was called. It was Super
3D
Mario
World.
3D World. There. we go.
I was gonna say, like, I don't remember that.
My bad.
Never played 3D World.
3D World. If you played 3D Land, it's the same thing, just bigger level.
I mean, I didn't play 3D Land. I don't have a 3DS.
Oh, 3D Land was really. I like the game.
Jake's super cutting out.
Yeah, it's the Mario formula is interesting. That Mario the Mario formula used for those games. For
Okay.
New Super Mario Bros, New Super Mario Bros. U, Super Mario 3D Land, Super Mario 3D World, and the Galaxy games. They all have all those games have the same formula.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you mean?
Hmm?
Like
all of
I
them.
get
Like every level, just about every level does they introduce a new mechanic. You know, whether it's like you jump and the platforms flip, or like in some of the Galaxy levels, or you know, they all have every level kind of has like this gimmick, this new mechanic, right? And then the game teaches you that new mechanic in a really safe way, like where like there's no stakes, and then it like slowly ramps up the difficulty of that one mechanic. It makes it more difficult, and then you finish the level, and then you never see that mechanic again.
You just described Mega Man as well. I don't know if you ever saw it, but Sequelitis Mega Man versus Mega Man X. They talk about that in Gyro Man stage. That exact thing. And yeah, that's pretty. I mean, that's not really an exclusive thing to these new things. That's something they've pulled from before. But I see your point.
Yeah, and not that there's anything wrong with that. That can be cool in its own right. But I
Not
think
there's anything wrong with that.
Well,
but
no,
there's something
like-
wrong with it.
I mean, I think part of the problem is that they end up losing on a lot of potential. Like there's some like really cool mechanics in Galaxy or you know on some stages, and they'd be like, wow, it'd be really cool if they had a stage that had both of these mechanics to sort of challenge me at once, but they'll never do that. Or like it's very unlike Tropical Freeze, where Tropical Freeze is okay with introducing a whole bunch of mechanics in an area and explore different ways to do things with those mechanics in the levels and ramp up difficulty by combining multiple mechanics that it has slowly taught you, which is cool.
Oh, I see.
But anyway, this is getting very theoretical.
Your favorite game.
Yes, Tropical Freeze is a good platformer. Describing what Jake meant,
Yeah,
what Jake said.
I mean, Tropical Freeze has some of the craziest level design of any platformer I've ever played.
Yeah.
Just
If you like platformers, you should play it.
yeah, it's definitely one of the best platformers ever made.
It's sad because it was on the Wii U and it was right after Country Return, so like no one wanted it. So I don't know how well it did sales wise.
Yeah, I don't,
It wasn't that
and then now it's
But
on,
it's okay.
it's on the
because
Switch
they
now.
ported it to the
That's
Switch.
true.
Yeah, it's on the Switch for too
Yeah,
much.
Switch.
For I mean, okay, not really too much money. I mean, I would have paid $60 for that game originally, but like it wasn't $60 when it came out, so
40.
It was 50.
it was $50 when it came out.
The new funky mode,
The new-
$10 more bucks.
Yeah, it's not $10 worth of content, Nintendo. You gotta try harder than that.
Gotta try harder than that to impress Jake.
I mean, I guess
The
they
Jake
have. I guess
man.
they have to make it into a cartridge now, which is technically a little more expensive than making the disc.
A
So
whole
I'll give
$10
them a couple bucks there, like two. I'll give them $2.
It's not 10. It's not 10 bucks.
All right, and then the other 8 is from the high resolution and the convenience of playing on the
The
go
high
if you want.
resolution and the new Funky Kong mode. Whoop-de-doo.
The real crime is The World Ends With You. That game is $60, and that was a DS game originally, and it was $40. And now
Suck it.
the new Switch, like final remix, the enhanced port, it's $60.
Suck it.
At least that's a more advanced port than the Tropical Freeze one.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Tropical Freeze runs at the same resolution and frame rate. So it's actually a port. Like, it's not a
Straight
remaster.
up.
It's not a remaster at all. It's a. I mean, it ran at 1080p 30 on the
Why you
On the
gotta
Wii U.
commit highway robbery, Nintendo?
Wii U. So it does the same thing on the Switch.
Even Nintendo's games, they never drop in price. It's so BS.
They only ever.
And it's
go.
not.
Not only did it not drop,
But
it
isn't that
went up.
more like us that were causing that? It's not the companies themselves, you know?
Like the
Like
market.
people are putting a premium on these Nintendo games that are used.
Yeah, I mean, people are willing to pay it. Is what it
That's the
comes down to.
problem.
Yeah, fine.
Like if you you
Yeah.
want
You can't.
Go
I
out,
can't blame
get a copy of
Nintendo
Dead
for.
Space cheap as hell.
I can't blame Nintendo for wanting to make money, but
Yeah.
it just feels like a stab in the back to those who. I don't know. I guess not. If you already bought the game, you don't need to buy the Switch version. So whatever.
Speaking of buying things, the Ridley amiibo is on Amazon for pre-order. I pre-ordered it like a week or two ago.
My personal finance recommendation is not to do that.
Whatever, man.
The
Buy an amiibo. Yeah.
Ridley one's cool though.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
It's just the novelty of it, like Ridley's in Smash. You know,
And I have all of the Metroid amiibos now. All of them.
Amiibos.
Actually- amiibos.
Amiibo.
If you're gonna buy an
Yeah.
amiibo, you should buy like the Metroid one at least. That one's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even this. Well, I guess this. Yeah, too. But just like
It looks cool.
the Metroids have always looked cool. They've always had kind of a cool design to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So we went super off topic. then we
Yeah.
went
So
back to
anyway,
topic.
yeah. Mario has a new outfit in Odyssey, so that was cool. All right. I think we should we try to wrap up the show here. So this big, huge shout outs to our sponsors, Monster Cable Company.
Why is it
they-
not TransUnion or like Equifax?
Uh,
Come on.
oh yeah, Equifax. It's
Enron. Shout
Enron?
out to our sponsor Enron.
Enron. They're a little bit gone, but yeah, you know
Nope,
what?
they're still around.
Screw it, Enron. That's
Shout
real.
out to NCOM. Thank you for the internship way back when.
Now forget them. Enron.
NCOM.
Enron is
Somebody
way
will
more
get
interesting.
that reference.
Would the people who even listen to our show like know who Enron are?
Probably not.
They'd be too young.
They probably
Too
won't
young.
even know. Yeah, they probably won't even know like the only reason I know about Enron and what they did and stuff is because of the Rooster Teeth podcast. So shout out to the Rooster Teeth podcast for teaching me things way back when.
I just know about Enron because I'm interested in that kind of stuff. But I mean, I feel like a lot of people have like heard of Enron, but they don't know what exactly happened. So I'm gonna do a quick filler for this is our sponsor spot. I gotta talk about Enron. So Enron was probably the largest scam ever run.
Wasn't a scam. They sold energy futures.
How long ago was that?
Enron,
That
not
was before
that long.
we were born. I want to say
No, I don't think it was.
it wasn't. Whoops.
No, I think it was. I think that was early 2000s.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's almost 20 years ago. 2000.
2001. Yeah.
17 years ago.
Yeah, 2001 is when the Enron went down. So, and they
Man, what was I doing in 2001? I was playing Super Mario Sunshine, probably.
yeah. So basically, Enron was pretty much the biggest scam ever run.
Bigger
They
than
basically
Madoff?
it was very, very. Yeah, I think way more money was lost in Enron than in the Bernie
Ponzi
Madoff,
scheme
and
with
then
Bernie
in the
Madoff?
yeah.
You're probably right.
Like Enron, to give you guys an idea, Enron was a publicly traded company, and it had a crazy growth. Like it was basically anyone who was any like finance manager ever. Like you're sitting down, you're looking to invest. Every single one of them would suggest Enron, because Enron was like this unstoppable force. It was growing super fast, and there's some red flags here and there, but basically in the end, as you might suspect now with hindsight, Enron was
Then
lying.
hindsight.
Basically, it came down to they were basically lying about the kind of revenues that they were making and the money that they were bringing
Shit.
in. Like it was a very, very complicated and sophisticated web of lies that basically involved a lot of paying people off and a lot like the auditors and everyone was in on it. It was huge.
That's awesome.
So there was
Why
auditors,
can't we do
like
that?
government auditors who were involved, who were, yeah, basically paid to look the other way. And so it was then found that Enron did not have nearly the capital that they were reporting. And in 2001, declared bankruptcy. As this
Jake,
was
you want to open up a business?
all came out. Not particularly, not right now.
Not really.
So yeah, they were a trading firm who got into the retail energy market, and
They sold energy futures.
yeah, and they were an enormously high valued company, and they had like this crazy high assets, crazy high income for a company with only 20,000 employees. It was 20,000 employees that was reporting 979 billion in income, which is no, sorry, 979 million. Sorry, with a revenue of 100 billion, which is just unreal
Yeah.
for 20,000 employee company. It just doesn't happen. And yeah, anyway, there's tons of people who had investments in Enron, and Yeah, let's. What if I can? It'd be interesting if I can pull up an Enron stock chart to kind of show you an idea of what the decline of Enron looked like. For those,
I haven't heard the name Enron in since '01, I think.
yeah.
You're welcome.
So here's what Enron stock looked like. The tail end of the 2000s. It's you can see there's a little bit of a dip.
a little bit. There's a little bit.
Where in the course of about 2 weeks, they went from $90 a share to pennies.
Yeah, I was about to say, are they penny stocks?
Actually, pennies.
Actual pennies?
Actual pennies, yeah. It is the biggest, the fastest decline in stock market history. It is absolutely unbelievable. And yeah,
Hold on, is this in the chat?
it's on the stream. I can also just paste the image into the Discord chat, so you can sort of get an idea of what it looked like. It's a pretty fantastic little graph.
Dude, do you think we're gonna see a business scandal like that in our lifetime, ever again?
Yeah, sure. Oh, maybe not at quite the scale that Enron was
at. The scale, I mean, yeah.
I mean, Enron was for a time the most talked about company in the United States. One of the most talked about companies in the world. They were considered the cornerstone of the American stock market.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, yeah. It was unreal.
Unreal Tournament.
It could definitely happen again. Unreal Tournament 3 was a great game. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. What? Why was that funny?
I just how easily I got you off of that. I just said Unreal Tournament because that's the first thing that popped into my mind, and I was trying to be funny, and you just I didn't think you would actually have a game to talk about for that.
Fun fact.
I don't know why that was really funny to me.
Unreal Tournament is the only Unreal Tournament 3 is the only time I've ever played a game like that in a huge LAN party with 100+ people, where everyone's in the same room together playing that game
Where did you do
together. It was at this coding camp that I did way back in the day.
Nerd. No, I'm just kidding.
But it was really cool because we were all playing that game, and there's different colored teams, right? And if a team took the lead, it would red team is taking the lead, but everyone's computer on that team would say it in unison out the speakers, so it filled the room with player 2 is taking the objective and things like that. It was pretty crazy.
If only we could do that stuff again.
Yeah, that was.
I want to experience something like that.
Joel, just run one of those camps because the camp counselors were playing with us. So there you go. You could do it again by running run a coding camp.
I got shit to do. I have younglings to teach how to make lightsabers.
Run a camp for it.
Run a camp. That would be an expensive ass camp. Nobody would go to it.
Why didn't you do that during ESI? Or the undisclosed summer camp that we may have attended.
Undisclosed? Why do we have to be secretive about that?
I know, because we're live on air.
Too late.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
If you had just said it and not made a big deal out of it, then no one would have cared. But now that you've made a deal out of it, now people are going to look it up. Oh, what's it that he's so embarrassed about?
and also my answer to that is it would have been way too expensive, and there's no way our boss would have. There's no way I would have asked my boss to pay for the materials for that.
What? It'd be like
nobody-
$350, $400 a person. That's fine.
No, I could have done it for way cheaper than that. Absolutely, I could have done it for way cheaper. But still, it's just if they mess up that component, the board, and we have to get another one, that's gonna be a bitch and a half to pay for. It's just
Okay. You do a real you can make it way cheaper by you have them make every single component from scratch.
No, we could have done it way cheaper by giving them the boards from like the toy lightsabers from Walmart and soldering in better LEDs and stuff. But even then, that would have been expensive. Just like that's why we got them kits. It's like here, solder this one LED into this board, and all it is a switch, a battery, and the LED, and that's it. And an IC to make it flash, but that's it. Just do it. And they had, they've never done it before. They had trouble with it. So there's no way I would have had those people make lightsabers.
It's true. I am terrible at soldering, so I understand.
It's not that hard.
I know it's not that hard. I'm just not that good at
Once
it.
your hands are better.
Well, to be fair, it was partially because when I learned to solder, I had like the cheapest soldering iron, like of
You
all
can
time.
still do. You could do okay stuff with a cheap soldering iron. It's just patience. That's the biggest thing that people don't realize. It's you have to wait for the iron to heat up the parts, and then you put on the solder, and that's it.
Well, part of the problem is the soldering iron I got way too hot, which is kind of problematic.
Yeah.
Like it got too hot, and it would it would burn the flux, and I didn't-
Used flux.
I didn't. Well, that was another problem. I didn't use flux.
Wait, you used flux?
I didn't at first.
I still use just regular solder.
You don't
I don't
use.
flux anything.
I mean, how small of solders are you making?
I'd have to go get my soldering or the board I'm gonna solder to, but the pads are pretty small. You don't need flux. It just helps it.
Yeah, it just makes it a lot.
It-
I mean, and sometimes
Yeah,
you can buy
flux is
solder
cool
that
because-
has flux in the wick. That's how a lot of solder comes, with a little bit
Yeah,
of flux in
flux
the
is
wick.
cool because it's like, say you have a bunch of really small pads that you want to solder to. Instead of individually tinning those pads, you just put flux on it and put solder on the tip of your iron and wipe it across, and then it'll perfectly
Yeah.
put solder on all
And
the pads.
that's most of my experience with flux, because we had to do a lot of really small components for when we were in Texas for the NASA stuff.
Yeah, it's cool stuff, but I mean, it's not entirely necessary.
No, it isn't. Though when you have an iron that's flaming hot, because the soldering iron I had, like there was no settings, there was no knob. It was literally like the soldering iron, and there was a cable that came out of it and plugged straight into the wall. So it just took. There was no power converter, nothing. It was just straight 120 volt AC straight into the tip of this iron.
Why are we still on air?
It was like $8. Anyway, yeah. So that's the podcast. Yeah, special shout outs to Enron, our sponsor this week.
Shout out to Enron.
Yeah,
Shout out to
they officially closed shop 14 years ago. So yeah, fun fact: went bankrupt in 2001, but didn't actually close shop until 2004.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. They closed up shop immediately in 01.
No,
02.
because their bankruptcy, they filed for Chapter 7 or 11, whichever one allows you to continue to reorganize
Isn't it
and
chapter
reopen.
11?
I think it's Chapter 11. And so they did that, and they did attempt to reorganize the company, but the Enron name was so trashed at that point
Yeah,
that
Chapter
it was hopeless.
They tried to reorganize after that. Wow, that's
I mean, to be fair, there was probably some investors that still existed who were
They
like,
still wanted
maybe
to-
I can recoup some of this money back. The stock is currently worth pennies. Maybe we can get it worth a couple of dollars, and I can make something back.
What's the point of that? Like,
holy shit.
I don't know. I mean, to be fair, the company did have a lot of real money, just not as much as they claimed they had.
okay.
So, like, there were still some, but it didn't matter. It was basically all lost in the bankruptcy
Yeah.
filings because they failed to reorganize and the company collapsed. So, a couple of investors got a paycheck worth, a tenth of what they put in, and that was that. Oh, man, what a massive failure. Our sponsor was... So
Enron.
All right, so we'll end this show with a what's the song this week? Mauricio, take it away. Start us off with some song that we all know the words to.
Don't need money, don't take fame.
Don't
need
take no credit card to
ride
ride this train. But you really should have one.
It's strong and
It's cruel sometime. It'll help your credit, but might just save your life.
Yeah.